I love to
Amazing.
study that time. The brain is just so much more. Oh, and here we are live on Facebook.
Good
Yeah, the brain is just
afternoon.
so much more alert.
Welcome to Nkosi Talk Show, where our coaches can help you get more from your life and create concrete steps to help you get there. My name is Nkositalkshows. I am the founder of Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency and the founder of Nkosi Talk Show. I have my three special guests today with me, and John Kenny, he's a relationship coach, and I have Bobby Joe. She's one of Bob Proctor's consultants, and I have Nadia Dubiel. She has a superhuman school, so she's a super human. And I'm going to let our experts introduce themselves so they can lay out their professional credentials, expertise. Over to you, Bobby Joe. Could you please introduce yourself to our audience and tell them who you are?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Bobby Joe Mackoltz, and I live in the United States. And as Nomsa said, I am a Bob Proctor consultant. I consult thinking into results. And the thought behind that is that nothing in our life changes here on the outside until you change what's going on in here. And just like a phone or your car, things need to be serviced. You need to upgrade your program in your mind so that you can create the results that you want.
Thank you so much, Bobby Joe. Could you please introduce yourself, Nadia Dubiel, to our audience?
Hi everyone, this is Nadia Dubiel again. I'm like a regular guest on your show, which is amazing. I love it. So I'm a body intelligence coach, and I teach people how to become superhuman. So I created my own academy about 2 years ago, and I take people on a journey of self-discovery. So exactly similar to what Bobby is teaching. So going within and discovering what do we truly want, who are we, what do we stand for. So yeah, this is my life mission, my biggest passion in life, and yeah, so every day I just help other people to become superhuman, so to become higher self, because that's what superhuman is for me, to create from a super conscious mind, not from ego. That's it.
Thank you so much, Nadia. John Kenny, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I'm John Kenny from John Kenny Coaching. I am the relationship guy, and I help people to find quality relationships that have struggled to find them in the past. My background's in counselling, originally working as a therapist for about 5 or 6 years before I moved into coaching, when I realised that even though I knew loads of stuff about myself, my life was still shite, to put it frankly. And coaching helped me to get on a new path, completely understand myself and tell myself a new story so that I could live the life that I wanted to. And that included finding quality relationships rather than destructive and toxic ones, which I'd always had in my life.
Thank you so much, John Kenny. So our topic today is how to be a master of your own destiny. And Johnny, you just touched on you had to tell yourself a new story about your life in your mind. I love to know about that. I think our audience will be interested. I like it when somebody gives me a question to ask.
Yeah, so as I said, my story was keeping me stuck in a very unhealthy space. So I learned as a child how to do relationships, so my relational patterns, my relationship beliefs, and also how I felt about myself within relationships. So I decided when I went into therapy to kind of look at myself, and then went into coaching because the story that I'd learned about myself, I kept repeating over and over again. And it was only when I went into coaching that the coach told me that I could actually write a new story for myself. Rather than living out through the old expectations and the old ideas that I had, it was about changing my mindset, changing how I saw myself, changing what I believed in order to be able to write this new story and live the life that I wanted rather than one that I felt like I I should or I had to based on my expectations of the past.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love it when you say you had to write your own story and live the life that you always wanted, which is an amazing thing. It actually takes courage for somebody to do that. Nadia, I'm going to come over to you. How did you change your own story?
Oh gosh, yeah, that's a very good question, and I always have this feeling of because I don't like to share my personal stuff, but that's one of my negative beliefs. But yeah, thank you for asking this question. How my life changed is I hit a so-called bottom about 6-7 years ago. I was in a toxic relationship, very toxic relationship, and my ex-partner left me for another woman. So obviously I got depressed and went on a tangent, drug addiction, alcohol, very unhealthy life basically. And eventually I woke up one day, looked in the mirror, and I just got scared of what I saw in the reflection. I just looked like a zombie, a dead person basically. And that fear basically made me take action and led me on a journey of self-discovery. So I started to learn about myself and because I just didn't know who was I becoming. So that fear basically made me search and learn who I am basically, and what do I stand for, what is important for me, what is my potential. And then that's how I become a superhuman trainer. I realized that we are powerful creators, and we are the writers of our stories. This is our book. And we have a choice every second, every moment that we can make, and we either make choices from ego, from limiting beliefs, or we either make a choice from a higher self and create a powerful life that we want. So now I want to share my teachings with others because it's powerful, wonderful stuff. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Nadia. I hope everyone is watching that whatever you're going through in life, you don't have to use anything to get to where you want to go. I'm glad that Nadia, you actually came to a realization that actually my life is messed up. And for me, I've never took any drugs, but I don't drink, I don't smoke, but I actually looked at myself in front of the mirror as well, like you say, and I was like, my life is messed up. I don't really like the way my life is going. When you look in front of the mirror and you scream, I just like scream. And for me to change my life, it actually, I had to change everything, the friends that I was going out with, everything, because it came to a point where, when you're looking at your life, you come to a point like, who am I? Why am I with these people? What's going on? So you find that your identity does not fit with the people that you actually hang out with. So I had to do all those things, like cleaning up my life. So thank you so much for anyone who is watching. And you gave me, I'm gonna have to interview you one-on-one one day. Life story. I know you don't like it, but I'm gonna get you teach others how to get there. So Bobby, how did you have to actually write your own story? When I speak to you and speak to other people that you guys, your network, it's like I'm speaking, I like your language. It's awesome.
All right. Yes, we all have that same language. And that's something that we really coach in people too, to write your life script. And that was one of the questions that I had thought about asking here today is like, what is the story that people tell themselves? And you keep thinking that over and over so the story doesn't change. And so I know that Nadia and John probably feel the same way when they're coaching their clients, is that you need to write a new script. How do you see that person and how do you feel? That's the most important part, is getting into that and changing the story. And I know for me, I was always an unconscious competent, which meant that I would just think about something without realizing it and create it. I would be like, oh, I'm going to go to India to study yoga. And I would just go. I would just say things and I would create it. And I got involved in this and thinking into results with the Proctor Gallagher Institute when I just felt like there was more. There was something so much more. And like Nadia also, drinking and smoking and just the numbingness of myself. My life was wonderful. And I remember just being out in our boat one day, and I just thought there's so much more. Like I have a very gifted life that I've always had wonderful things, but it wasn't just enough, you know, there's something more. And there's something when you want to serve and help people and give them value. And so many people say that they're good, but when you really get deep into it, we're not all living the life that we want to be living. And why is that, you know? And you got to go through those layers, like what Nadia said. And that's just the layers of unworthiness are there. Because at first people are very much upfront. And then there's those deeper layers when you start to really discover and know yourself. And then that's what I can tell Nadia and John here too, that passionate about serving and helping people. And I think that's all of our intentions, that we're here to help people and help know your story and know that you can recreate it. Starting today, anyone out there can recreate their life. And how do you do that? Is through repetition. I always like to think of a horse, and it's going out the same way every day for 20 years on the trail. One day you try to take it a left and it's like, whoa. And that's just our minds and our stories. We keep saying it over and over and over. And it's time to rewrite a new story and find the courage to do that. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's nice to rewrite your own story. That's my favorite words. Rewrite your own story and hold the pen. It is beautiful. So I'm gonna come to you, Johnny. How can we use our thoughts to create our reality, positive reality?
Yeah, so as everyone said so far, we're very good at creating our own negative reality, or creating the reality that we believe exists within our own mind. So if you want to create a more positive reality, you can use your own thoughts. Because Buddha said that 2,500 years ago, what you think you create, and it's exactly what we do. Reticular activating system, or your RAS, which is specifically designed to go and find what you want. So if you were to, I don't know, if you've experienced, you know, when you're going to go and buy a new car and you make a decision on a new car, a new thing that you want to buy, when you've got your focus on that, you start to see that thing in abundance. And we can actually choose that for our own lives. So we can switch that part of our brain on. To be able to go, you know, if this is what I want for my life, this is what I'm going to go and find. And we can actively turn that part of our brain on to say, okay, well, so I'm going to help you to find that. So if I want to live a specific type of life, then if I put my thoughts into that space, then my mind is open to finding all of those opportunities for me. It's up to me then to decide whether I step into those opportunities or whether I let them pass me by. There's an analogy I use with my clients, because unfortunately we have a tendency to be stuck in this kind of negative space. And I say, if you go to the park trying to avoid treading dog poo, the only thing you're ever going to look at is dog poo. Because that's all you're ever going to find, because that's all you're ever searching for. So if we want to see the flowers and we want to be able to see the trees and go and play in the playground, whatever it is that we want to do, that's where our focus needs to be. And occasionally we might tread in dog poo. And that's okay, because we can always wash it off and start again.
Serious, John. Now you're gonna be in my mind. Every time I go to the park, I'm gonna say, Nomsa, don't look for dog poo. Look at the flowers in the river. Just look at the view. Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much. What is your opinion, Nadia, on this one?
Great, interesting questions. Definitely, our thinking, yes, it's so important, because our thoughts do create reality 100%, and the language that we speak to ourselves, it's so important. And a lot of people, of course, as John already said, living unconsciously, and Bobby mentioned that as well. So we create reality from our unconscious beliefs. Basically, we acquire beliefs as children. Most of the time, most of our beliefs we acquired as children, because our brain is just absorbing everything, and our ego wants to make sense out of reality and creates these beliefs to orientate us in the world and just take us through life. And all the thoughts that we create, basically, that we have, are actually coming from these beliefs. So majority of the thoughts are negative, and they keep recreating the same cycles, basically. So when we close our eyes and we don't see things that we wish for in life, all this beautiful home, family, great relationships, life that we truly desire. The only reason is because we get caught up in and we overpowered by these thoughts, basically that are coming from our unconscious beliefs. So the whole point is, like in my teaching, is I learned it from a wonderful guy called William Whitecloud. So he says thoughts and feelings aren't real, because every single thought that we have and feeling is actually not connected to our higher consciousness. It's coming from our ego, from the vehicle of our orientation, basically. So the whole point is just to learn how to stop thinking, really, and allow ourselves to use intuition to realize what we truly want in life, to listen to our hearts. And we can only do it actually when we learn how to stop thinking. So this is like a superhuman stuff. So we really, to learn our full potential, to learn how powerful we really are, we have to start being intuitive and really believe that we are powerful, that we have everything, that we complete. And we don't need to rely on opinions of others. All these negative thoughts that are coming into our mind, they don't really matter. They're not real, because they are just a creation of our ego to keep us, small, basically. So we're not powerful. So we don't create this crazy, wonderful, amazing, big dreams. So our ego wants to protect us. And every time when we have these thoughts, this small, horrible self-doubt, all you have to remember is they're not real. They have nothing to do with your higher self, with your full potential. And just redirect, basically every time when they appear, just redirect your attention and just clear your mind and connect with yourself, go within, because that's where all the wisdom is. The wisdom is not in the courses and books and all of this stuff, wisdom from other people. You have your own inner wisdom. And if you want to learn your real thoughts, basically the language of your soul, is when you really quiet yourself, when you quiet your mind and listen to the information from your own heart, from your own soul, from your own higher self. And yeah, that's how you can change your belief system. That's how you can change the way you think, the way you look at life, the way you look at yourself and other people, and your life changes. So yeah, what I would say, just in just to summarize it, I would say don't dwell on any thoughts. All you have to remember is that if any negative thoughts appear in your head, it's just remember it's not real. It's coming from your ego to stop you, to sabotage you, to make you feel small, so you don't take action, so you don't take any risks. All you have to remember every second of your life is that you're powerful, you're incredible, and you are here to create a wonderful life. And we all have a purpose like that. So yeah, that's what I would say. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nadia. I always say to myself, if I need to succeed in life, I need a good coach. I need me, and I need my God, because no one knows my destiny. No one knows the things that I'm capable of doing. As long I'm doing things that are going to benefit myself, that are going to benefit the world, I'm in the right track. So as long I'm serving, basically not like serving me, I always say in that way, I'm in the right track. So I'm not gonna let anyone affirm my destination. If I go to a coach and I tell them what I'm doing, if they can understand it, I know I'm in the right track. If they say, no, Msa, this is crazy, you need to go and think about this, I go and think about it, and I write it in the right way so they can understand it. So then I know I don't do normal anywhere, I do crazy. So that's why I'm surrounded by you guys. I don't do normal. So I always want people, I basically that's my policy. I don't want to get to know the person that you think I want to know. I want the real you, all you, not what you think I should know. That's me. So thank you so much. I'm gonna come to you, Bobby. What do you think? What's your own opinion on this one?
Well, thank you, Nadia, for saying that. I agree with you 100%, that people, well, John, I want to get back to what you said first, and that's what I've always talked to people, like when you're skiing, if you're in the woods, right, and you see all these trees, we tell people you don't look at the trees because you're going to hit the tree. You look where you want to go. And it's about reprogramming your mind and doing that and not being reactive to by what you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. And we operate, you that understand, when you understand neuroplasticity, is that we 96% of the time are coming from the subconscious mind. So you need to reprogram exactly what Nadia was saying, that reprogram that mind and not listen to the ego. So when I teach yoga, I'll say that often, that let's lead with your heart and love and not with our head and fear. And I always love that, because it is true that we know our own truths, that you just need to be quiet and listen and not be distracted by everything out there. And that's what the Proctor Gallagher Institute Consultants coach, is that we teach you use your mental faculties, your reasoning, your will, your perception, your imagination, your intuition, and that you're not reactive by things and other people, and that you are spiritually, we're all perfect and we're all equal. And what I find to people, I say, is like, no one else is Superman or Superwoman. We all have that ability. And that's right up your alley there, Nadia, huh? But that we all have these powers. But why the grass is greener to people is because those people have learned to fertilize their mind and their thoughts and control them. But we tend to be so distracted. I know here in the States, it's the joke of being like, squirrels want to ride bikes, you know, and that we're so all over the place. But that's where you learn to control the mind and not be reactive and sit with ourselves. But that's difficult for people. But it all comes down to our thinking, right? And that's another quote that you said about Buddha a couple of thousand years ago, is that every man in this world has agreed on nothing but one thing. And what you think about, you become. So where are your thoughts and what are you thinking? And how you get to change that is by repetition. I mentioned earlier before we started, I get up at 4 a.m. But I love that, because that's when your brain is most open, and then they do the scans and you can see. And that's when I'm reprogramming my brain by reading the stuff over and over, by writing out my life script over and over, by doing affirmations and getting in the mirror. This is the work you need. You go to the gym and you in your mindset. And that's why I take that morning. And it's the repetition when people can really start to change and know themselves. So I think that's all I have for now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bobby. You know, when you keep telling yourself a lie, it becomes a reality. Repeating everything, it becomes actually a reality. And I've never actually used to take it serious until I watched Bob Proctor when he was talking about it on YouTube. And I was like, oh, okay, this is what my father taught me, but I thought he was crazy anyway. So, and you know, funny enough, the things that he taught me, I did it and it was successful. And then I got into the world, I listened to the world, and then I was switched off. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna come to you, Johnny. Is there any morning ritual that people can use that are working for you when you get up in the morning first thing?
Yeah, I guess it's doing something that puts you in the right frame of mind. So I exercise a fair bit, and lockdown was really good for me because it got me back into a routine of exercising. My diary went quieter, so it gave me some space to sit and think about what I was doing, what I wasn't doing. And I got myself back into a routine of exercise, and I've always exercised. I used to be an athlete, so I've been training since sort of the age of 16, and let it go for about 3 or 4 years, and then realized that part of who I am is to exercise. And I've chosen that as my sort of daily routine. So I'd get up and I have my protein shake in the morning, and I get myself off into my garage where all my fitness equipment is based, and I'll do myself a workout, and that gets my day started off in the right way for me, because I know it's something that's authentic, it's congruent, it makes me feel good, and it's a good way to start off my day. So I would suggest that if someone's going to really think about something that they're motivated by, that makes them feel good about themselves, that is going to have a beneficial impact on their life. Bobby Joe mentioned affirmations. So affirmations are always a good thing to start your day off with, because it's a lovely positive way to start your day. But something that's very personal for you, I would imagine, would be really good for you to start with. Like I said, exercise is my thing, and it always makes me feel better that sometimes I'll crawl out of bed and I don't really want to do it, but I know how I'm going to feel when I've done it. And that's my motivation to get in there and keep going. And so if you can find something for yourself that makes you feel that way, if it's not something you can find time for in the morning, but as Bobby Joe said, if you want to get up at 4 a.m., there's nothing stopping you. We do say that time is an issue, but actually, as I think Bobby Joe could testament to, actually, if we can find the time, we can make the time. We just have to prioritize and make sure that we do the thing that's best for us and something that's going to that we're going to enjoy to do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Johnny. That is really, really useful. Doing exercises early in the morning and doing the things that you love. Like you say, people might have things that are personal to them. Just get on with it. Decide what you want, what you love to do, and just go after it. Do your affirmation and do whatever you want to do. What is your morning ritual, Nadia? You can suggest, and what is working for you?
Oh gosh, thank you for this question. Now I can talk for hours, really, because yes, the show is mine. No, I'm joking. So yeah, morning routine. Oh my God, so important. Like the most important part of the day, really. I always, teach my students how you start your day and how you end your day is the most important. So in the morning when you wake up, it's so important that you recalibrate. That you really reconnect with yourself, because if you don't do it before your mind takes over, that's it, your day is gone. Your day will be run by your ego, by your unconscious beliefs. So what I do is I have 2-hour morning routine before I start my day, actually, just to reconnect with myself, just to look after myself, to self-love, self-care, basically, and then just connecting with my higher self. So I always start my day with meditation. First thing in the morning, always I meditate for minimum half an hour. I try to do it longer, but yeah, meditation is so important for me. And I don't use any guided meditation. I use thoughtless meditation. So I just completely empty and condition my brain to stop thinking, basically. And because I want to be in charge of my head, I don't want my ego, my mind to run myself, basically my thoughts. I want to be in charge. I want to be the driver. So I meditate for about minimum half an hour. Then I pray for about 5 to 10 minutes. So I'd say appreciation, gratitude prayer for about 5-10 minutes. And then I do yoga. And yoga, I'm a yoga teacher as well, so I love teaching yoga. I've been obsessed. I've been obsessed with yoga for the past 7 years, and yoga saved my life, actually. So I love the practice. So then I do yoga for about half an hour, just to wake up my body, work out, basically become more stronger. Not only because yoga is a great tool to not only increase your flexibility and strength, but also personal resilience and control. Yoga is incredibly powerful. And of course, spiritual practice. So that all of this takes me about half an hour. 2 hours, basically, meditation, praying, and yoga. And also I have a little my own ritual as well. So I have my daily choices. So I have a list of goals that I want to create in the future. So basically I just follow. That takes me about 15-20 minutes as well. So every morning before I start my day, I connect with my goals for my future. What am I creating? And these goals are not just from my head, but these goals are from my heart. This is my life mission. And every single day I connect with these. And I follow like a special technique, basically, to connect with them. So not only think about it, it's not a chore for me. None of my routines is a chore, things that I have to do. I do everything with my full commitment, and I do it from my heart. That's very important, that everything that I do it the best way I can. So every choice, every goal that I have for my future, I connect with it with my heart. Not only think about it, but I feel it, I imagine it, I just stay in it for about 30 seconds, and it gives me clarity of what I have to do exactly to get there. So it's a long process, but it's wonderful. And it makes all the difference, because then when I start my day, I'm sharp. I know what I'm doing. And, I just sit down and I work, and I love it. I love working, and it just, everything goes so quick and flows. So it makes a difference. And it takes time as well to get into it. But at the end, it's so worth it. Like, life has become so easy. So yeah, highly recommended daily morning routine. So yeah,
Thank you
thanks.
so much, Nadia. Thank you so much. That I do the same as well. In the morning, I have 2 hours of prayer and meditating and listening. I have to be in a place, a quiet place where I listen to music for almost 1 hour. Basically, it's like I cannot be disturbed. I'm in a quiet room and listening to music and working out and repenting for my sins, for being bad, and communicating with God. Thank you so much, Nadia. I'm going to come to you, Bobby. What's your morning ritual that is working for you?
Very similar to Nadia and yourself, that I take a few hours every morning, and morning rituals are really important. As soon as I open my eyes and my feet hit the floor, what is your intention for the day? Because as we learned being yoga teachers, right, in India, they call it the monkey mind, and that we control the mind doesn't control us, but we think we're thinking. But like I said, 96% of the time it's our subconscious mind. So we get out of bed and we instantly just get in this autopilot, and we're thinking, but you're getting the kids ready, you're brushing your teeth, you take a shower, and you're not making really decisions and choices, and that you're just in autopilot. So as soon as I get up, I think about, what am I thinking about with today? What is it that I want to create? And you get into the physics of this when you start to really create your morning, because just like gravity, right? We don't always understand gravity. What you're thinking about, you're bringing into your life. So you need to, just like if you're going to run a marathon, you got to start with baby steps. And so waking up in the morning and having a morning routine of, maybe it's affirmations, definitely it's that meditation to control the mind. We're really into visualization, because if you can visualize it and you can feel that, that's when you're getting into the frequency and the vibration of it, and you're going to attract those things in your life. So you have to know your mind so well and keep it like a trap door to keep those negative things out. So that morning ritual, I mean, all the most successful people in the world, they all have that morning ritual, and it shows up differently for other people and what that is. Some it's reading and journaling and affirmations. And you find time for it. You said something back there, John, that I one of my top quotes that I say to anybody: if it's important, you find a way. And if it's not, you find an excuse. It's by Ryan Blair. And that's so true about everything. If it's important, I like that, start, a friend starts to say something, I'm like, bop. If it's important, you will find a way, like, I don't want to hear your excuse. And that excuse is, we talk about a paradigm. That's where we coach a paradigm. You're going to hear that lingo in the Bob Proctor community. And that's your beliefs and your behaviors and your habits. And that's the one that you get up in the morning and it's like, you don't need to work out today. And so you have to realize that you're so conditioned in your life that you don't even know you're conditioned. And so that's where the self-study comes in, that you know yourself, that you realize, you call it ego, I say it's the paradigm, but they're both very similar in that it's something else. It's up here, it's the logical way. And that when you really have those morning ritual practices, what it shows up for you. And I do agree with the visualization, the meditation, doing a little stretching or working out. Working out comes later for me in the day. But they're really set up the intention. Are you just going to let the day happen to you, or you can control and seize the day? And where are your thoughts? And that's how you start that. Really important. Morning rituals. Everyone should incorporate that in their life.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think, Johnny, now Bob is saying if it's that important, you can do it. I do running in the evening. I think I'm going to move it to back in the morning. I used to do it early in the morning, but then I stopped it. I was like, I'm doing too much in the morning. I think I might go back. That means I have to get up at 4:30 in the morning. So, Bobby, you put me on this tricky situation now. Thank you so much. And Johnny, how can we use our minds and program them not to work against us?
Not to work against us.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of, so when I work with my clients, it's about understanding where you come from. So it's understanding what your kind of core belief systems are. So what do you really think about yourself? What do you really think about the world? What do you think about others? And I help people to understand the messages that they've internalized from, as Nadia said, that they all come from, majority of them come from your childhood, unless you've experienced something kind of traumatic, majorly traumatic in your later life, then generally most of the stuff you carry comes from your childhood. And I help people to understand their story from that childhood and how they've interpreted that, the meanings they give to things, how that's influenced their perceptions and what they are then impacting, what's impacting on their life today. Once we have that understanding, we can then start to look at changing what those things are. As Bobby Joe mentioned earlier on about neuroplasticity, your brain is flexible. You can rebuild different parts of it all of the time. So once we learn a new habit, then we actually build the neurons in our brains that then fire off every time that we want to do something. So if we're carrying old beliefs, it is just your neurons firing off in your head, telling you to do something because you've always done it that way. So once we start to create that new experience for ourselves, then we have a choice. We have a choice whether to do the old thing, or we have a choice whether to do the new thing. And gradually, as we practice and practice and practice more with the new thing, that becomes our default way of doing things. It doesn't mean that the old things aren't going to poke their head above the surface every once in a while, because they are a permanent fixture in our heads. It just means we've got a choice, and those things that we used to do are harder to access because we've created a new way. Unfortunately, our brain is negatively biased, and it does like to remain in a certain and safe space where it's comfortable. So if we've done something for many, many years, your brain will tell you that it prefers to do it a certain way. And I like to call that resistance. When our brain is saying, I need to go back and do it to a more comfortable space, that's when the resistance to change usually kicks in. And that's when it's really important that we really focus then back onto what we're doing. What do we want to do? What meanings and are we now giving things? How are we going to live our lives moving forward? And then it's about choice then. It's about choosing to do the best thing for yourself. And once we build those neurons, they do fire off for us. And then it becomes a much easier space for us to live in. It's like learning to drive a car. When you first learned to drive a car, you were focused on the gears, you were focused on the steering, the mirrors and everything, because you needed to learn how to drive a car. And we need to learn how to drive our lives in the direction that we want to drive our lives into. And because once you've had a few driving lessons, if you do it consistently, then your driving becomes a subconscious process most of the time. And sometimes you just drive places and don't even know how you got there, because it just becomes an automatic thing that we do. And that's what we can do with everything that we do in our lives. We can create that subconscious way of moving in the right direction.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Johnny. I like it when you say life is a choice, and also your mind, when you are doing same thing all the time, it can get comfortable. So I like to take myself to uncomfortable situation and test myself. So thank you so much. And there is something that I'm doing now, and which is when I ask people questions, people, Nadia, I put a message in the group about how can I change this, and people think I'm crazy. So how can I want to change those things? But Johnny, you're giving me a go ahead to say, Nomsa, it's okay to go big. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go big. Thank you so much, Johnny. I'm gonna challenge my mind.
Yeah, I think also it's important that you tell your brain you're not uncomfortable doing the new things, because your brain is just trying to keep you safe. And if you don't kind of dispel that with yourself, to tell your brain, actually, you're not keeping me safe, you're actually keeping me stuck. It's important that your brain knows that. So the next time things come up, your brain feels, okay, I don't need to do this because I don't need to keep you safe anymore. This is not keeping you safe. This is what we do, which now makes us feel better. So it's also important that we do that. We reassure ourselves, reassure our brain that it's doing the right thing for us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Nadia, you're listening. I'm being given a go ahead. I'm in the right track. So what's your opinion on this one, Nadia?
Yeah, my opinion is very similar to John, totally, because the most important is the source always. Where is the information coming from? Is the thought coming from our unconscious beliefs, from the place of lack and our unmet needs from childhood? And that's why we want to actually do it, or is it coming from our higher self? That's very important to be able to distinguish. And that's why self-awareness is so important, learning about ourselves and who are we, what is our ego, what is the structure of the ego, what is the belief system of the ego, and how is trying to sabotage us, stop us from creating our life, the life that we want. So the source of information is the most important. And a lot of people, as Robbie says, it's in 96, there's a different numbers. So yeah, majority of our life, we are unconscious, basically, we are in this autopilot. And we creating life from the place of lack, basically, place of unmet needs from our childhood wounds, basically, because our parents didn't give us what we wanted. They didn't give us the validation that our ego needed when we were growing up, basically, and we created these beliefs, basically, that we are not complete, we still need something, we are not good enough, we're not worthy. And when the thought is coming, let's say you want to do something, you're going for something, let's say you want to create a course, or you want to create, let's say you want to create a course, or you want to write a book. And a lot of people, what they're going to have, to write this book, I need to study more. I'm still lacking this knowledge. I'm not complete. I have to do some more research. I have to read more books. I have to listen to some people. I have to go on Google. I have to do writing course book, writing book course, and so on. So all of this information are coming from a place of lack, because your ego thinks that you still need to fulfill these conditions to become the writer, to become the creator. And the whole point is just to realize already now, you have to know at all times that you're already complete. You have everything you need. You already know everything you need to know. Our mind is exposed to 400 billion pieces of information per second. But our ego has access only to 2,000 bits and pieces of information. So this is our five senses. This is our unconscious reality. And we keep thinking in this small prison, basically box. We incomplete and so on. But in reality, we have access to this universal wisdom at all times. And all we have to do is to learn how to listen, to switch off our head that is very limited. Our head only can absorb 2,000 bits of pieces of information per second. Otherwise, it's overwhelmed. That's why we have to learn how to tap into higher consciousness and realize that we have access to everything. We already know everything. We know how to predict future. We don't need all of this information. We already know what we need to know. We just have to believe in ourselves and decide basically that we are complete. We know everything. We are powerful. And that's the belief system that is empowering. Any other belief system that makes you go, study more, gather more resources, telling you that you don't have enough of something, money, intelligence, knowledge, it's coming from your ego and unmet needs from the childhood. All you have to know is it's illusion, because you're already complete. You already know everything. So yeah, that's my take on it. You already know everything. So don't worry. Just believe in yourself.
Thank you so much, Nadia. So I have to believe in my dreams and know that I'm the only person that can make things happen. Thank you so much. You guys, it's like you are speaking to me. I really, really need this. When you're doing something, you are surrounded by people that they speak, and when you guys speak, it's like you are speaking to me. I really, really need this, and I want to hear it. So thank you so much, Nadia. And what is your thought on this one, Bobby?
Well, I heard what they said, but what's the question exactly again? I can just talk, but what's the question about our thoughts?
How can we use our mind and reprogram them not to work against us?
I know, like Nadia, I can talk about this forever. That our spiritual DNA is perfect. We are perfect. And just like a thumbprint or a snowflake, there's no two of us that are ever created the same. No one has had the same experiences. Even though like Nadia and I are both coaches and we're both yoga teachers, our experiences are completely different. And so everyone is different. And so what I have learned is that with the paradigms, that's our big key word, but is those habits, beliefs, and behaviors. And when you're from 0 to 7 years old, you do not have a conscious mind. So everything that you think, feel, and see just goes into your mind as your reality. And this is why you find people who are in 4th and 5th year generations on welfare, because it's a cultural paradigm. It's a way that they have a belief about themselves. But like Nadia and John saying, it's all just a make believe. It's all our belief, and we have the ability to do anything. Like the internet, the way to make the internet has always been here, just no one figured it out. Or like the Wright brothers, that's a big one we talk about too. They thought they were crazy. But it's about knowing your own beliefs and trusting that imagination. We don't ever focus on imagination and using it and just create anything, to just get crazy out there and think it. Because if you right now, anyone, you just look around, the light, the coffee cup, your phone, everything was created twice. It was first someone's imagination. So the brain and the mind is so powerful. And we have this energy that's coming through us, and we can create and be and have. But it is so funny that we tend to be the negative. So what you said there about, I'm just going back to saying about the book and the course, in that you do it, but sometimes when you have that course and that book, you don't do it not because of the ego, because of what we call like a terror barrier. That's why coaches are so important to have, because their accountability. They're getting there to make sure you do it, because the logical mind is there and like, I can't do that. That's too scary. You know, Nadia calls it the ego, and it does get involved and it tells you why you can't. And we believe that story. You just need to bust through it. Push it aside, know what you want. And that's an important thing too. Like if you have a goal, you can't say, I just want to make a lot of money. I want to make 100,000 a month. Be specific, because the universe doesn't know what you're asking if you're out there. If you just have, well, it's this picture and this picture, and if you do that on your phone, it's all blurry. So you really need to be specific and have those goals. That's why these morning rituals, you're the one in control of your mind. And this is the most powerful thing that there is out there. But there's also a cybernetic in us, right? And that's a psycho-cybernetics. It's a great book written on self-image, that our brains are just like the rocket going to the moon or a plane going to Paris. It's off course 90% of the time, because there's a cybernetic in it that makes it come back to course. And that's what happens with our minds. We have that same mechanical mechanism. That's why some people can't lose weight no matter how much they diet, because in their mind, they have a certain belief that they see. This mechanism keeps pulling them back. So you really got to get deep in the self-studying about who we are and why are we doing what we're doing, and just knowing yourself. And you can do this and read all these self-help books, but how do you learn to apply it? And you have to be highly organized, I think, and highly focused in a certain way that takes you down that path so that you know yourself and discover. And what is that? The repetition, asking yourself, because up here, there's so much chaos. And when you start asking yourself specific questions and ask yourself over and over in the mundaneness, then that's where the magic happens. And you really start to discover who you are and what it is you want. Because you can sit here all day and think about it, but I'm telling you, the chaos, right? That's one of the first orders of the universe. The laws of the universe is about law of order. And your brain wants to have that law of order and sequence. And when you write things down.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bobby. That is amazing. When you say the universe read it now, it doesn't read, I guess what, maybe one day you read it now. So you have to be specific. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So what I've done myself. Oh, sorry, you were talking. Sorry, you can finish.
No, it's just one thing I want to say is that the subconscious mind, and it is different numbers, but neuroplasticity says 2 to 4% we use the conscious mind. So it's open, but basically a lot of the stuff is in the subconscious. But the subconscious doesn't know reality from unreality. So if you keep driving to work and you're dreaming about, oh, you always fight with your boss and this girl, like that imagination, you just planted that. Of course she's going to be it. Control your mind and start thinking about what you want, because the subconscious doesn't know 5,000 from 5 million. So what are you impressing into the subconscious? And it needs that repetition, because it doesn't know the reality from unreality. It just knows what you feed it. So right, there's that story about the wolf, but what are you going to feed, negative or the positive? And that's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bobby. For me, what I've done is I've joined the groups of where I need to go with my business. I've joined a group for millionaire mindset. and I've set up the talk show, and I've set up a billionaire mindset group on Facebook. So I know I have to write being grateful in the morning affirmation, but I know in my mind when I go to this group, I know this is my tribe. This is where I want to be. So that's what I've done to show my mind, this is my want. And I say out loud to the universe and telling God that you know what I want and I'm gonna serve you in return. This is how I'm gonna give you 40% or 30% to serve your people on earth. So thank you so much for that. Before we leave, Johnny, is there anything you would like to leave with our audience? Just any words of encouragement?
Yeah, so I think to take on board what people have said today about, you have this within you. It's whatever you choose to do. It's the life that you want to live, and you have the ability to be able to put that into practice if you just go and start to explore yourself and understand yourself and know what you want from your life. As Bobby Joe said, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend most time with, apparently. So if you're used to being around people that don't have hopes and dreams and are always focusing on the negative, then you're going to fall into that yourself. It's about kind of stepping out of that space and knowing that you've got another space to step into. Talking about the story that we came back right from the beginning, I think it was Bobby Joe that said about one of the quotes. Karl Barth says, you cannot go back and change where you come from, but you can start today and write yourself a new story. So it doesn't matter where you've come from. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It doesn't matter how many setbacks you've had or how many successes you've had. It's today that counts. And today is when you can actually implement the start of your changes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Johnny. It doesn't matter how my past has been or where I come from. I need to create my future. Thank you so much. Nadia, anything you love to leave with our audience?
Yes, please. So yeah, I just want to repeat what exactly as John just what was said before. That's because that's how we learn. That's how we evolve when we apply. Actually, when we absorb, assimilate what we learned through repetition, as Bobby said. And I also want to add quickly that I love Bob Proctor and what he's teaching. It's so amazing. I just believe that the qualities that he's teaching, like will, imagination, creativity, reasoning. All of this are our senses. If you believe that free will, creativity, imagination, reasoning, all of this stuff, it's just natural, your natural ability. It will be so much easier for you to use it and accept it into your life, and your life will become so much easier. And we don't have 5 senses; we have 12 senses, according to my teachings, and these few are part of it. We are so much more than we were conditioned to believe. And you just have to believe you are so much more. You are so much more, and just learn how to distinguish the language that you speak to yourself. Is it coming from the place of lack? Do you have a vision, a clear vision where you want to go, the sense of direction? Because if you don't, you're not going to get anywhere, basically. So it's important that you have a vision, clear vision, and that vision is not coming from your head and a place of ego to compensate for some unmet needs, but it's coming from your heart, from your higher self. And that requires self-reflection, and as Bobby said, asking yourself the right questions, because that's how you learn about yourself. When you really reflect, stop, quiet, create a peaceful environment, and just sit down with yourself. That's it. You don't have to listen to talks all the time. You don't need to read, because all of this is just outside noise. All you have to do is just to sit down with yourself and just ask yourself the right questions to learn about yourself. The best thing you can do for yourself to create your destiny is coming from you, not from other people. So just learn about yourself by creating peaceful environment and creating that vision, and learning where is the information coming from. Is it coming from your ego, or is it coming from your higher self? So yeah, that's my last words. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Nadia, it's really, it's powerful actually writing down the questions and asking yourself some questions, because you are actually unleashing whatever powers that are hidden within you. Is very, very powerful. I find it very challenging as well when I have to ask myself questions. Who is Nomsa? What do I want? It's really, really powerful. Thank you so much. Bobby, anything you'd like to leave with our audience, please?
Of course, we all have stuff to say. What I wrote down, and then she said it, is trust yourself. Trust yourself and don't beat yourself up. You're exactly where you need to be. Yes, you have to make decisions. Yes, you need to take a step forward, but trust yourself and don't beat yourself up. And what we coach a lot is of gratitude, because we're all vibrational, and that's always the key of what we're attracting. And this, like, the law of attraction is a secondary law. It's a law of vibration. So when you give gratitude and you wake up every day and you think, yay, this coffee or my kids or my health, touch your heart. And when you feel that, it switches you from that negative into that positive, and that's the highest form of vibration that you can be. And that's when you're in a good state to attract what you want, because doesn't everyone want abundance? We're all here to live just our best life. And so what's really important is that you're on the path and you can get there, and you're going to get to the top of the mountain. You might have to go around and stumble and fall, but hiring coaches like Nadia or John or myself get you straight to the point. Why mess around for another 6 months or 10 years? Hire a coach, get accountable, get to the shortcut right there. You need someone to hold your hand. All the best of the best coaches, athletes, everyone, they've had mentors. All the smartest business people in the world, everyone's had a coach, everyone's had a mentor. Do yourself a favor, look up Nadia and John and help yourself and trust yourself, that decision. That's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys, for today. Really, really appreciate you. For anyone who is watching, and if you want to get a hold of our coaches, you can get hold of, there's a email address on the banner. If you want to get hold of any of our coaches, you can go to my website, Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency. There is a form where you can fill out the form and get in touch with request the name of the coach that you need. I'll get in touch with them, and they'll be able to work with you. Or even if you need a free consultation just to find out your goals, where you need to be. If you are stuck, please just get in touch. It takes 1 second to make a decision, and that decision, you won't regret it. So if you really, really want to be where you want to be, we have all different coaches from all walks of life. So you cannot say, I have an excuse. So if you need any help, we are here for you. And thank you so much. I think you guys, if you want, we can have part 2 where you guys can go deep, basically, because now you've started the talk. So we can have a part 2 when you both available, how to be a master of your own destiny, part 2, where we go to the next level. If you guys want, we can talk about that offline. So thank you so much to our speakers for today, and live with grace, everyone. Remember, you are the creator of your destiny, and you have a final say with your life. So you have a final say to make a decision and get in touch with these coaches. Thank you so much, everyone.